Hello again, Michael. It's wonderful to see you. It's a fantastic honor and pleasure to be here in your home talking with you about your latest projects and maybe a little history about who you are and what you do.
Yes, I'm Michael McDonagh. I'm a writer, director, playwright and director. And my latest two performance pieces, I want to stress the performance aspect of them, are Speaking Terms, a performance piece for voice and music, and a Russian novel, Anna and Vronsky after Tolstoy, for a performance piece for 4 or 5 actors and music. So, Speaking Terms is a monologue which I wrote for my own use, and I was going to have a dancer, but we won't be able to have a dancer. It will feature the second cello suite by Bach in D minor, and under my speaking, my performance, and followed by a complete performance of the Bach Cello Suite Number 2 in D minor. I was been very interested for maybe a year and a half about the violence in contemporary relationships, the psychological kind of edge, shall we say. And I was writing a 4-character piece with a gay character, 2 gay characters, a couple, and a straight couple breaking up, called The Scene of the Crime. I didn't really pursue that fully, but there's the kind of back and forth, I think, in the content with the monologue Speaking Terms. The thing that interested me in Anna Karenina, well, there are many things. It's a fascinating, a tremendous, tremendous book. Deserves all the superlatives anybody could give it. The very fine line between love and hate, which is always shifting back and forth in the characters that I've chosen, and how that works itself out. The piece is kind of a dream of the characters judging themselves. So the challenge for the actors is to make all that come alive. The music will be 4 of the 6 pieces, 6 morceaux pour piano by Tchaikovsky Opus 19, which were written at the time of the novel, in 1873 to 1877. That's when Tchaikovsky published them in 1873, but that was the period the novel was written in. So that's the dramatic intent of the piece. I think the 2 pieces will go very well together. They on the face of it, they look opposite, but actually I think they'll be apposite. In other words, fit together very nicely as an evening for an audience. And my intention also is to have Russian suites to work, shall we say, the Russian framework. And we must not forget, especially at this time with all the hate Russia stuff, that the Russians have given extraordinary things to civilization. You have Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, you have Shostakovich, you have Prokofiev, you have Schnittke, Edison Denisov, Malevich, Eisenstein. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of what the culture, and the ballet, of course, the Imperial Ballet in Petersburg, the Hermitage, the experimentation that the Russians did way before people in the West, basically, in film. It's an extraordinary legacy that the Russians have given the world. So I want to highlight that. I want people to not forget that. So that's another reason.
Fantastic. And you have some new characters that you are going to bestow upon us, and I would like to maybe understand a little bit about your new characters and your new work.
Well, in a Russian novel, Anna and Vronsky after Tolstoy, I've just chosen 4 characters from the incredible array of characters in the book. Anna Karenina, shall we say the famous adulteress, and her husband Karenin, her lover Count Vronsky, and his mother, Madame Vronsky, and the son Seryoza, who is the son of Anna Karenina and her husband Karenin, who's is a high official in the government in 1870s Imperial Russia. So I decided that the tension would be between those particular characters, what they feel about each other, how they interact, what they expect. It's a very compressed, very concise script, which doesn't have long speeches, but anyhow, I wanted to make it as direct and emotional as possible. So that was why I chose that particular kind of viewpoint for the piece.
Well, they sound absolutely fascinating. I'm really excited once again to be talking with Michael McDonagh here about his new work that he is performing. And may I find out when your play is being performed, and could we talk a little bit about where it's going to be performed and how people can go ahead and get tickets to find your wonderful work?
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to talk to you. It's always a pleasure to try to go into what one does. The performances of the two pieces will take place on Sunday, the 31st of January, 2016, beginning at 5 p.m. and ending at 8 p.m. at the Berkeley Arts Festival in Berkeley, California, on University between Shattuck and Oxford, which is the eastern side of the campus where it begins. And there will be an interval after speaking terms, and there will be Russian delicacies, hopefully, sweets, and then Anna and Vronsky, a Russian novel, Anna and Vronsky after Tolstoy, as the second half of the show. Misha Khalikulov, the Uzbekistan-born cellist, will be playing in the Bach, and in the Bach in the first part, and Jim Jowdy, the pianist, will be playing Opus 19 Tchaikovsky in the second. The characters, the cast are as follows: Madison Mentz as Anna Karenina, Dean Santomieri as Karenin, her husband, Nassim Abu Faraj as Count Vronsky, her lover, and Karen Clove as Vronsky's mother, Madame Vronsky, or the Russians would say Vronskaya, I think that's how they say it. And I'm still looking for someone to play the silent character, Seryoza, Sergei is his name in the book. The pet name is Seryoza, Anna Karenina and Karenin's son. So that's my intent, and that's basically what it's about.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you've got some amazing musicians, a full cast of wonderful actors, and it's just been a real pleasure talking with you today about this new work that you're in full command of. It looks like I'm really impressed with what I've heard today, and I encourage everyone to go and check out this wonderful, amazing new show from Michael McDonagh.
Yes, at berkeleyartsfestival.com, 31st January,
Excellent.
2016.
Excellent. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you once again, and just very looking forward to this new work of yours.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Wonderful.